Okay.
I'm not signing nothing.
Okay.
I've been through the system, buddy. I know how it works.
I know you have.
You're
Jeff.
not my friend.
Yes,
All you're
you-
trying to get is some stupid-ass confession, and you're not going to get one.
One evening, alarm bells started to ring in a neighborhood 7-Eleven in 2011. But when police arrived on the scene, the suspect was nowhere to be found. The search was then expanded when it was assumed police heard the commotion in a nearby house. Without any other leads, they stormed in and found a known heroin addict sitting inside with a gun. Without any other evidence, they arrested the man. What happens when the suspect outsmarts the cops? The following 24 hours were captured on police cameras inside the interview room, but in contrast to most footage similar to this, it was originally uploaded to the suspect's own YouTube channel on the 25th of September. The man who committed the robbery and the following will go down in history as one of the only times a man single-handedly beat the cops at their own game, all while experiencing horrendous heroin withdrawals. This is the first indication of Jeff's legendary status among those who conduct interrogations. Given that the robbery and arrest occurred in the state of Georgia, the typical minimum sentence would be 10 years in prison and a maximum of life without parole. However, Jeff wouldn't serve a minute of this time, and instead saved his decades. Jeff was held in police custody for nearly a full day, but all of the videos from the 3 interrogation sessions lasted barely 15 minutes. In prison, the next video demonstrates in spectacular detail the tactics the police will use against you and how to avoid them like an absolute pro. The speaker spent a day at bars receiving drinks and candy while giving a master lesson on what to do while in police custody. The video opens with Jeff Hancock in a cramped, windowless room wearing prison clothes. It is obvious that he has already been through processing and has spent some time in a cell as the police gathered evidence and were ready to interview him.
Am I under arrest?
For now.
I'm under arrest?
Yeah, I'll explain everything, but before I explain myself to you, before we talk to each other, I need to read your rights, okay?
What am I under arrest for?
Well, like I said, I need to read your rights first. Obviously, the charge is robbery, okay?
As soon as Jeff asks whether he's been arrested and on what grounds, it's clear that he's done his homework, since this is precisely what you should be doing in this circumstance. From here, there are 2 possibilities. If you aren't being arrested or detained, you can say that you should have complete freedom to leave the interrogation and are not required to stay and answer any questions. If you are being arrested, you can immediately request a lawyer and remain silent until you're given one of these options. It's funny because when you're arrested in America, the officer is actually required by law to remind you of this, giving you the best opportunity to block the police in their tracks and enable you to mount the strongest defense. Listen to what this detective says in the Miranda warning.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to the lawyer for advice before we question you. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer and you want one, a lawyer will be provided for you. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you'll still have the right to stop answering questions at any time. Does that make sense? You've probably heard these before, haven't you?
Due to the fear of being arrested in the first place, as well as how frequently we hear these lines in media like police shows and movies, most people completely glaze over it when they are being read these rights and fail to realize that they are actually being given useful information that allows you to stay free. These 3 points are very important and frequently overlooked by the average citizen. While in police custody, I felt secure and protected. The detective also ends the rights with a snide remark about Jeff's past, intending to subtly remind him that he is a previously convicted criminal. What this detective neglected to mention is that if you ask for a lawyer while under arrest, they are not allowed to continue questioning, and you have a complete, unquestionable right to refuse to answer any questions they may ask until you are provided with an attorney.
Do you understand your rights? Do you understand your rights, Jeff? Yes or no? You understand?
We're getting paid more than you are, so we can sit here for a long time, man.
I just need you to answer me yes or no. Do you understand your rights? Let's get through that question. Do you understand what I read you? Do you comprehend what I read you?
The chief detective sits back in his chair after emphasizing to Jeff that he has the right to remain silent. Jeff is now choosing to use that privilege. Body language like this often implies some sort of restlessness, so it's obvious that the detective is aware that these next few hours will be challenging for them. This was designed to demonstrate his lack of care about Jeff's quietness and his ability to remain there for as long as required.
If you got something that says you didn't do this robbery, this is your chance to talk to us.
Okay, good cop.
No, usually I'm the prick.
You look like the prick.
I am.
If it's dominance we're talking about, Jeff just took everything the cops had and dumped it in that garbage can.
I'm not asking if you want to talk to me at this point. I just want to know, do you understand what I read to you?
So am I under arrest?
Yes, you're under arrest.
Get me back to the cell. I don't talk to you motherfuckers.
Okay, fair enough.
In this round of questioning, Jeff displayed exactly the right behavior in light of his current situation. Dean doesn't say anything since he knows the police have nothing against him. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking to him in the first place. He then returns to his cell, but 2 hours later, he's taken back to the same room for another round.
Yeah.
You gonna be able to pop it open, or you need me to?
I need methadone.
You need methadone?
Yeah, you guys can get me that methadone or what?
I don't have any. Do you have a medication for it, or a prescription for it? Or?
No.
What do you need methadone for?
Because I'm a fucking junkie, and you guys, I can't get no methadone. I'm gonna go through withdrawal here in a minute.
A can of soda is all Jeff requested before he returned to the interrogation room, but he immediately mentions the withdrawals that he's likely already starting to feel. However, methadone, the drug Jeff asked for at the start of this conversation, can be used to significantly reduce the effects of the withdrawal. It can even reduce the cravings he's probably been experiencing for the entire time he's been in police custody.
How long you been using heroin?
Long time, buddy.
10 years? 15 years?
I hardly been alive that long. What are you trying to talk to me about here?
Talk to you about what happened last night. Look, here's the deal. Either you're in a bad set of circumstances, or you went and committed an armed robbery last night.
Yeah,
right?
I'm in a shitty, wrong place at the wrong time, obviously. I didn't commit no fucking armed robbery.
All right, then let's talk about this. Let's
I
not
don't
keep up
I
the
don't talk
act.
to the police, man.
Jeff has obviously had enough of the personal conversation and is ready to return to the issue at hand. In his opinion, he has been wrongfully accused and has to leave the area as soon as possible. Okay.
I've been through the system, buddy. I know how it
you
works.
have. I know you have,
You're
Jeff.
not my friend.
I'm not your friend.
You're trying to fucking get me. Or you're
No,
trying
I'm not trying to get
all
you.
you're trying to get is some fucking stupid ass fucking confession, and you're not going to get one.
Jeff, I'm not going to get a confession out of you for nothing.
Exactly, because I
And
didn't
I'm
do
not trying to
nothing.
get a confession out of you.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, I didn't commit no armed robbery, and y'all ain't got no fucking evidence saying I did. Let me go. All you did is find me sitting in my buddy's house because my fucking buddy's dog's going ape shit. I go outside. There are cops everywhere, and they spotlight me. They say, "Come here." I say, "What's up?" They search me. They ain't find nothing. What's up?
Let me read this.
No.
before- Yes.
Because I'm not going to sign it.
You don't have to sign it. But let me read it for you. Okay?
I'm not signing nothing.
You don't have to sign it.
Even with all of this, Jeff's response was so flawless it almost sounded scripted. It's an amazing display of self-defense, and it's even more impressive when you consider that Jeff is almost certainly beginning to experience withdrawal symptoms. It's ironic that the cop is saying he's not trying to get Jeff while handcuffing him and questioning him in an interrogation room. The reading technique, which was developed in the 1960s by a former police officer and psychologist after he successfully obtained a confession from a man accused of killing his own wife, is one of the main techniques used in these interrogations. It consists of 9 steps and starts with a polite discussion about why the suspect is being accused of the crime, followed by the use of specific body language. They can choose between 2 assertions, one of which is somewhat more acceptable than the other, but whatever is picked acknowledges guilt and is seen as a confession. This technique puts the suspect in a difficult situation and is incredibly effective at getting false confessions out of innocent persons. In reality, the case that inspired the strategy collapsed when it was shown that the guy had been gaslighted into making a false confession and that he had not actually killed his wife.
Tell me what happened last night. Plain and simple. Your side of the story.
I'm not talking to you. I'm a lawyer.
All right. This is what I don't understand. I know, but this is what I don't understand, Jeff. You were sitting there talking just like you were ready to sit here and tell me what happened last night, and then all of a sudden I read that to you and you screw it, I ain't talking to you. I want a lawyer. I don't understand that. What changed just in the...
Because I told you what, I already told you what happened.
You didn't.
How didn't I?
You didn't tell me what happened last night.
How didn't I just tell you what?
But now you've handcuffed me, and I can't talk to you because you asked for an attorney. So, okay, that's fine. But I will tell you right now, you're still on a hold for a robbery.
I know. I don't know why. I need a fucking lawyer because obviously I didn't do nothing. And obviously you guys know I didn't do nothing because I've been arrested for the same bullshit before, and you guys don't interview me this much. So, wham bam, thank you for the coke, put me back in the cell.
We
That's
haven't
my home.
interviewed you yet.
We're just halfway through this clip, but Jeff's ability to defend himself and thoroughly dismantle this officer only gets better from here. Here's the situation. Jeff has now requested a lawyer and is once again refusing to answer questions.
The deal is, I have enough evidence
Like what?
of the armed robbery, okay? But, you know, if you're saying you didn't do it, you need to give me your side of the story.
I didn't do it.
Okay, well, give me your side of the story. You got, convince me. Because I got a lot of evidence. I got a lot of physical evidence.
Well, like what? Name the physical
Well, I don't need to, why should I tell you that?
This is when the detective's desperation sets in because he knows he's running out of time and has completely given up on any elaborate techniques or methods to try and get information out of him. Instead, he has switched to basically just threatening him with false claims of evidence that he can easily use to convict Jeff. If all of this were true, he would probably be trying to use it to intimidate Jeff into panicking and giving up more information. But instead, he uses a flimsy Jeff.
There's only a couple pieces of evidence I'm missing.
Name them.
What's that?
Name them.
Well, why do I need to do that? You haven't helped me out a lot. You give me a little bit, I give you a little bit. We go back and forth. I give you one of my pieces of evidence, now give me a little something. All right? What time do you get over to Aaron's house?
No, anything I say here can and will be used against me.
Sure, but anything you say here, I can also tell your parole officer that you helped me out.
That doesn't mean dick.
Now the detective is feverishly attempting to persuade Jeff that if he assists the police, they'll speak well of his parole officer, but Jeff realizes right away that this means nothing at all. This supports the argument that the police have no evidence to prosecute Jeff, and also demonstrates that they are aware of the fact that they are running out of time. What does a gold star imply if you're confined in prison for 20 years? As if continuing to question Jeff while he has requested a lawyer is not a flagrant violation of the rights that they have read to him now 3 times, they are aware that their time is running out. And Jeff is closely watching the clock for the remaining 4 minutes of the interrogation. Jeff continues to dispute everything the police say to him. They bring up the gun they found him with, try to make a deal, and even try to scare him by mocking what it would be like to be back in prison without any of the drugs he's become dependent on. But throughout all of this, Jeff maintains a completely expressionless face because he knows he's almost there.
I'm done, man. Fuck this. I'm not even answering. All this shit that I just said is gonna be fucking written in the discovery now, right?
What? You haven't said nothing.
I mean, every little stupid thing that you've asked me, dude, is gonna be in the discovery.
I'm not even going to do discovery.
The prosecutor is.
Okay. So, you halfway know the system, how things work, and you halfway don't. Am I right?
I half-ass know
Yeah.
that the only reason I came up here is to get a fucking Coke.
Okay.
And I got it. But now I want a Butterfinger.
But that's not going to happen for a while.
What, the Butterfinger?
Yeah.
Why not? I need to go to the hospital. I'm coughing up blood.
Okay.
Let's go to the hospital.
Jeff handled this as casually as he could by asking for sodas and chocolate bars. During this time, the police have been questioning a man who is obviously in pain, denying him access to the legal prescription drug that would help him deal with his issues, and questioning him repeatedly about a crime for which they had no evidence. It is noted that Jeff was freed from detention and went on his way 12 hours after exercising his rights in the best possible manner, since he realized that failing to speak at any moment may put him on a slippery slope. According to reports, Jeff started to change his life after this. He quit using heroin and now spends his time making music and sharing more advice on how to escape police traps on the same YouTube channel where this video's footage was first posted. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.